Welcome to Get Green, Northwest Indiana, your home for lawn care solutions with Steve Daly. Each podcast, you'll learn the secret tips to growing healthy green grass and best practice solutions for watering, weed and feed, aeration, and mowing. Here are your hosts, Steve Daly and Jim Jano.
Now, you've done a lot with publishing, a lot of information on your website. You've got tables, you've got things that help anything from somebody that's growing new sod to people that start from seedlings. And it kind of ties everything together, and it's very informative. You even have your dailies tips on your community pages for each town. Why is it so important to you that everybody waters their lawn?
It's a partnership. The homeowner has to be willing to water and mow properly and kind of listen to what we're trying to tell them. Or our fertilizing program really isn't going to do a whole lot for them. I mean, it will in general, but the more you'll get out of it is based on how you're going to treat it. I guess what I'm trying to say is, and I'll tell homeowners this, is that when we come up on their property, it's their property, and how they want to take care of it is up to them. And to expect a fertilizing program to defeat a drought, that just isn't going to happen. The water has to be there, and they have to care for it as we care for it when we come out. I'm just supplying nutrients. Think of it as taking a daily vitamin. Now, you can take a vitamin, but if you don't hydrate all day, the vitamins are doing you no good.
Let's talk a little bit about some of your pages that you offer solutions for people. Let's start with your community pages. Your community pages, what areas does your community pages serve?
All of Lake and Porter County, parts of LaPorte.
But you have a Hobart community page, you have a Crown Point community page, Valparaiso, Chesterton, DeMont. You've got a lot of pages that people can go to your website and they can get your tips. You have a really cool tool called the GDD tracker that allows people to know an expert's guide and when they should be doing certain things. You've got Steve Daly's tips, and that's very helpful because you actually keep that updated, and it's updated for the communities that people are in. But beyond that, you have this blog that just came out. Let's talk a little bit about that blog. First of all, where can they find that blog?
On our webpage.
Yeah, what is that?
Perma-Green.com.
All right. A little plug there. Okay, now, and on that blog, let's start off with the first one. Okay, so we have sandy soil. So how do you, what's the proper way of if you have sandy soil, how do you water?
You sandy soil, you water, say, every other day or every third day. You're going to try to supply about a ½ inch of water so that you get 6 inches in depth. You'll do that, say, 3 times a week.
Okay.
You get into a loamy soil, you're going to go a little bit longer. Try to get a good inch of watering every 5 days. That'll kind of equate still out to your 1.5 inches. That should give you around that same depth, maybe a little bit more. In clay soils, we need to water hard. You need to water for a long time. It's a dense soil. It's hard to get through. You need to get it wet so that the water will penetrate. Generally, you do the 1.5 inches every 5 to 7 days. And
so you're watering
all in one shot. Don't break it up. Don't frequent water. You're trying to do it one area at a time, deeply.
Once again, to get the water deep enough that you're allowing a healthy root system deep underground where it's free of pests, heat, and the things that can hurt your grass.
Correct. Yep.
You like to help people that you can't even help. I mean, I've noticed that you put out information on how to help people that have, again, new sod, seedlings and stuff like that. It seems like you truly have a passion for helping people in Northwest Indiana with their lawn care. What advice would you give that person that's got the new lawn that how can they make sure that their lawn is getting enough?
Really, just go to our webpage and follow the instructions. Generally, on a newly seeded lawn, you need to water it at least once a day to a certain point. 3-4 weeks out, then you can start altering your water. The idea is to have soil moisture for germination. This time of year, it's very hard to try to seed something. Grass does not like to germinate in 90-degree heat. you'll have a lot of resistance when you try to do that. It'll dry out quickly. So usually I try to recommend to people to try to wait till fall if they can. Seeding in the spring is hard to do. You got to keep diligent with your water all through the summer if you seed in the spring because the root system hasn't matured. Now I get you have to do small spots and things like that after some, say maybe snowplow damage or this or that or the other thing. But try to keep your spring seeding limited if possible unless you're in shade. If you're in deep shade, your only shot at photosynthesis may be in the spring. So for that germination, it's different. It just all depends on your situation. Generally, what I would say is if you're going to start seeding your lawn, September, October is the time to seed it. That way you've got 2 cool seasons before that new root system ever sees summer heat.
What about aeration? I mean, everybody knows that you're supposed to aerate, but you've said a lot of times people may not be doing best practice aeration. How does aeration affect watering, and what should Northwest Indiana listeners know about aeration?
I mean, the clay soils around here, you should be aerating it probably every year at least,
Really?
if not every other year. Reduce compaction, keep your thatch layer in check, and allow the nutrients to be able to get through.
So I probably need to be aerated again this year.
Yeah, it never hurts.
What does aeration do?
Well, basically, it allows nutrients to get through. Breaking up clay soils is important. If you've ever noticed, say you put in a new line or something and you disturb the clay, and then you put your sod back down over it or reseed it, you notice that area generally will stay clean or greener for a period of time.
Oh,
yeah. And that's because that clay has been disturbed. Allows nutrients to get there. Okay, as our clay hardens each year, aerating allows water and nutrients to get down through that. Pulls plugs out, pulls pieces of thatch out, gives it room for it to get down into the depths of the soil and do the things it needs to do.
Well, thank you very much for your time, and this is very informative, and we hope that Northwest Indiana all benefits from your help, and happy green lawns for everybody. Thanks again for your time, Steve.
Thanks, Jano.
All right, talk to you.
Have a great day.